Hello there folks, this is RJB from RJB TV with a impromptu cast of a game between, let me just look at the names real quick. We have Gangster LeBaBy and we have Viperclass, his teammate, here on the Blue Protoss, well Blue Zerg. Then we have LeBaBy on the pale green Protoss right next to him. We have the brown Protoss, Budgie, and he's here on the 1 o'clock spawn location, and we have Fuffpounder here on the bottom middle of the map. A name that is very difficult to read, so I'm just going to change the colors here to be... Actually, we got two Protoss on Team Blue, that's a little bit confusing, so I'm just going to keep it with the original colors. But just so you can see it, Fuffpounder, he is here on the dark blue on the bottom middle of the map. So we have Gangster LeBaBy. Because they are Protoss Zerg, they have a lot less firing power, but a lot of scaling power in their hands. And you can go for a 9-pool gas and then a hatchery and an overlord to capitalize on the power of speed Zerglings, but it's very difficult to pull off against double Protoss. Because double Protoss, Speedling has to basically be pulled off in such a way that the double Protoss just doesn't make makes all the mistakes, every single mistake, and then your Zergling speed with Zealots can work. But because it usually doesn't work, because it's very difficult, very difficult to play Zealots with speed lots, speedlings against Protoss, they're opting for a defensive build order with LeBaBy going for a choke build order, pylon, gateway, forge, and we have the cannon in the back almost dying. Overlord there from Viperclass going to the north. We have a little bit of a probe harassment from LeBaBy on Fuffpounder, because Fuffpounder is the kind of player who still goes for a pylon on 8 supply, double gateway, pylon, double gateway, for 4 gateways in total. But this build order is really exposed to early game harassment from the Zerg and the Protoss, because you don't have the cannon, you don't have the triple gateway forge, but it's 4 gateway forge, so the cannons are very much delayed. But likewise, you have a counter attack here on LeBaBy, because Budgie just walked right in there, because LeBaBy made a mistake of not properly protecting his choke point entrance points with Zealots or Pro. So this is some pretty big economic disruption here on LeBaBy, losing a couple of his probes, which is always very bad. It's very bad when you're Protoss and Zerg, and you as a Protoss start losing income, probes, or mining in any way whatsoever. Because the Zerg, you know, he invested a lot into Zerg just now, and the Zerg wants to grow big and strong, and you as a Protoss have to be basically the support player for your Zerg. You have to be the support player. You have to provide protection or means for the Zerg player to scale into a formidable, strong force. And losing probes makes it a lot more difficult. He's trying to push these cannons here to try and prevent a blockade on his partner Viperclass. As you can see, they're building cannons in the middle to try and gain control over the middle, to deny Viperclass the ability to enter the middle, but also to deny LeBaBy the ability to help Viperclass. Because if Viperclass gets attacked and its cannons in the middle keeping Baby away, they've effectively managed to isolate both players. Now LeBaBy is isolated, although there's still the ability to walk right there. But Viper has been isolated from his ally, and his ally invested a lot of minerals into trying to get that blockade up on the middle for control. Lost a lot of Zealots, lost a lot of mining time with his probes just earlier. He's fallen behind a lot. So Viper now has been forced to invest a lot of minerals, drones, into those Sunkens, which he of course rather would not have spent, because building all those Sunkens slows you down. It costs money, it costs you drones, it costs you time to scale up and become bigger. So now it's going to take longer for Viperclass to become bigger because of all the Sunkens, and because he had to sacrifice drones for it, and he already used Zerglings earlier to harass on Fuffpounder. Now Fuffpounder did get slowed down a little bit by those Zerglings and Zealots attacking his base, but here on the top we have Budgie, who has not yet been slowed down whatsoever, but he's going to lose his Cyber Core. So that's a pretty good move there by LeBaBy, but LeBaBy has very little protection around his Nexus, because he's been slowed down so much, he has been forced to invest a lot in those Zealots. He did try to go for a little counterattack. He's walking around inside of Budgie's base, and he might actually get the information on those robos, but as we can see, that Budgie is trying to prevent him from seeing all of that, but nope, LeBaBy finds the robos, sees support bay just finished up, so he's got the information he needs to start protecting himself from the double Reaver drop, because a double Reaver drop is on the way. Because I'm live casting this, we cannot see that speed is on the way or that the Reavers are on the way, but if you have double robo with a support bay and a shuttle in the sky, double Reaver is without a doubt on the way. So Budgie here is playing without Nexus add-ons. He might add a Nexus later on, but he's focusing all of his income on units and offensive power, which is a very good choice in my opinion, because I think that Fuffpounder here is actually making a small little mistake by focusing on the double Nexus when he could instead just focus on getting a really big ass army, going for fast storms, and just storming those drones to death by just walking into the Zerg base. So you can see he's going for double Spire. Viperclass loves to go for air. He absolutely loves Mutalisks. And you know what? The Mutalisk can actually turn the tide of the game. Because as we can see, Fuffpounder is adding on Dragoons, but he only has double cannon there at the main, which is pretty big. That's definitely something that Viperclass can abuse if he gets the opportunity to get his Mutalisks up into the sky, but he really builds so many geysers. It's a lot of gas income and very little mineral income. He only has 49 supply, but already has 24, no, 20, I can't count. 24 drones on the gas out of those 49, so half of his drones are on the gas, the other half is on the mineral, so his mineral income is going to be very, very bad very soon, but he will have enough gas at least to produce a massive amount of Mutalisks. So we have Reaver Zealot there from Budgie, we have cannons there on the top, and Dragoons on the top there for LeBaBy to protect himself against those Reaver drops. And now we can see that Budgie, after getting that very fast shuttle Reaver, getting that large Zealot mass, is decided to go for a Nexus add-on to help himself progress into the late game if they cannot end the game with this decisive push. A lot of the moves there from Fuffpounder. I'm wondering, is he gonna try and help? If he helps, he throws away the advantage of the element of surprise of being able to attack the Nexus and kill the cannons and kill the Nexus. If he helps, he can kill the Reavers and maybe some of the Dragoons and stop the kill attempt on LeBaBy. I think LeBaBy would have been perfectly fine if Viper didn't help him. Because now we're probably going to see a lot of cannons being added on there by the double Protoss to protect themselves against the Mutalisk attacks. Oh, he's going to have to take down the shuttle there really quickly. At this point, I would say, send the Mutalisks to Budgie. But he doesn't know that Budgie has no cannons. At this point, it would be safe to assume in most cases for Viperclass that they have seen my Mutalisks. The opportunity or the chance to go for the Nexus kill is probably gone. That's most likely what he's thinking right here, right now. So he's not sending them to kill the Nexus, he's instead using them to protect his ally LeBaBy against the increasing amount of ever-flowing units coming from Fuffpounder and Budgie. And Fuffpounder is doing a great job there target firing on the cannons. He's going to try to get up there onto this top section, kill the cannons, take away the drop protection, then a drop from Budgie will come in with the shuttle, a double Reaver most likely. It goes in. That's a lot of Mutalisks there. It's a lot of Mutalisks. LeBaBy will have to pull those probes back to the Nexus right now, start mining, and get new anti-drop protection because the shuttle is finished up there on the top. We got the Mutalisks there on the chase there, taking down the Dragoons. We have level 101 there on the Dragoons there from Fuffpounder. But the Mutalisks there from Viperclass will soon have 1-1 because he has that double Spire there back at home. You can see the protection there on the middle to keep Viperclass from entering the middle, but with the Mutalisks, it isn't really as effective as you would assume. He's got no anti-drop protection, and we have no drops at the moment on the way from Fuffpounder, who's really just focusing on mass attacks non-stop all the time. Pretty much all the time, just focusing on mass attacks. And this is where his double Nexus is actually starting to pay off, because the game has gone on beyond 10 minutes, and the triple Nexus in total, like the double Nexus that he added on earlier, is starting to pay off now, because now he has a lot of production potential and ability. So he can keep up producing really, really well. Although his gateway count is only on 8, at this point he should be on at least, like, let's say 12 to 16. Oh, there's a drop there from Budgie that tried to go on to Viperclass, but nope, gets denied. Tries to fly in anyway, gonna try to snipe it down there with a moving shot and takes it down. And that's, I think, a mistake by Budgie. I think Budgie should have really gone for the drop on LeBaBy. Just take LeBaBy out of the equation. Now LeBaBy can start to recover and start contributing again. He also has a pretty good amount of gateways. That's 9 in total. He doesn't have a lot of probes, not a lot of probes, because he never added on that second or third nexus. But he's been doing really well at staying alive and contributing with some army. Drop comes in there on LeBaBy. This is going to be the money shot. Gets him really hard. Goes down from, I'd say, about 90 down to about 63 supply. I think he lost about 20 of them. Yeah, 20 probes went down. Might have hit maybe 2 or 3 more with the Reaver drop. But yeah, that is going to set him back a lot. But now we got the attack there from Viperclass with the Guardians on to Fuffpounder. There's a lot of Dragoons there on the side, but we have a little bit of micro going on here. Slowly moving backwards whenever the Dragoons try to attack, to try and use the range advantage from the Dragoons. The range advantage from the Guardians onto the Dragoons. And at this point, we will also see that LeBaBy is going to try to go for the attack to try and capitalize on the fact that Budgie went for drops and less army. This is the downside of going for fast drops, is you have less army than if you didn't go for the drops. Going for drops always costs you army size, and there are times where having more army is actually more beneficial than having a drop out very quickly. Viperclass is playing this one really, really well. I think Fuffpounder has misplayed, but Budgie has misplayed as well, because the drops didn't really hurt Viperclass whatsoever. Viperclass has been allowed to scale up and become bigger, although he only has 6 hatcheries. He is really honed in, dialed in on that economy and on the mass Guardian attacks with the level 1 upgrades. Dragoons from Budgie coming down to try and help Fuffpounder survive, and they succeed. At this point, I would say send those Guardians up to Budgie, but that might be a little bit too late. Drop there from Budgie, gonna go in on Viperclass. Viperclass might see the drops coming in over the bottom side. He might pull his drones to safety, although there's a blockade there. There's a pretty big blockade. He's gonna have to pull away right now. Starts pulling he's gonna lose his drones. He's gonna lose every, a couple of them do make it out, but he lost a lot of drones there. That's a lot of dead drones. Could not snipe the High Templars on time with the Mulists, and that cost him dearly. Also, this Sunken and that pool are really just blocking his drone pulls pretty hard, because the drones will maybe go this way, or maybe they will run right into this and then have to turn around either this way or that way. The left side or right side. It just takes a lot of time, makes him very easy to storm. So yeah, he survives the storm drop, and he will have to recover his economy slowly because he lost a lot of drones and only has 6 hatcheries to recuperate with. We have more anti-drop protection there from LeBaBy, putting his nexus there on the left side, away from the top side, so that he can mill maximum amount of cannons here on the northern side of his base. Once again, another attack there from Viperclass onto Fuffpounder. Fuffpounder is trying to relocate to this bottom 7 o'clock base. There are high tempos there from Fuffpounder, but the Mulists there from Viperclass hunt them down and take them down and protect the Guardians from that attack. So now the Guardians can actually just go in on the entire base here and try to take everything down as fast as he can. We have a drop there from Budgie that just hit Fuffpounder. We have Dark Templars from LeBaBy wrecking face inside of Budgie's base. That's also actually pretty nice. He split them up in 2 locations to try and do maximum amounts of damage. Viperclass there with more Guardians coming in, more Mulists arriving on the scene. The economy is recovering. Supply is once back on 170. He is looking very strong. High Tempos there from Budgie trying to help out his ally Fuffpounder. Trying to snipe them. He takes a lot of damage there on the Mulists. They stay alive there though. We can morph these into Guardians later on, and they will be back on full HP. You can see the Fuffpounder is really quickly trying to rebuild all of his lost technology buildings, because they were all here on the right side of his base, and they've been taken down there by the Guardians. It's all going to come down to whether LeBaBy can start to contribute, and it doesn't look like he can, because Fuffpounder is just building a large amount of cannons on the middle to make sure that LeBaBy cannot enter the middle without losing all of his units, without having to fight through a large buffer zone of cannons here on the middle. So blue against blue, Protoss against Zerg on the bottom of the map. We have Viperclass just putting on a really strong performance. Really, really strong performance. They allowed him to grow stronger and stronger and stronger he did become, as he's now taking on the nexus there in Fuffpounder's base. Although Fuffpounder has 8,000 minerals, he should be able to recover here on the bottom corner, but it might take him a little while, it might take him some time, which might give LeBaBy the opportunity to play a 2 versus 1 with a Viperclass against Budgie. And Budgie here has been trying to really spot abuse LeBaBy with drops there on his economy, but it hasn't really worked out as well as I thought it would, because he still has a pretty big army, and he has no upgrades though. And I don't see, well, he's got one upgrade there on the way, probably level 1 attack. We have 1 upgrades there for Budgie, we have 1 armor, 1 attack. No Zealot speed there yet. Goes in for a drop there onto Viperclass, gets the storm off, and actually hits him pretty hard, but I think he lost like 40 of them. He didn't get them all though, he didn't get them all. Like, there's still quite a lot of them here alive there on the right side of his base. Still has gas income. Still only on 5 hatcheries. He really has to just throw down another 5 or 6 to help him just recover his economy much faster if he does get storm dropped like that again in the near future. And yeah, Fuffpounder got absolutely ass blasted there by Viper. Viper playing a very, very strong game. Has very bad storm dodges though. He might have to put some scourges in the sky, a little more vision with overlords on the sides to help him snipe down those drops from Budgie. So far the game's been going on pretty strong. Fuffpounder trying to survive, relocating to the top side and the bottom corner. All of his probes have relocated. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how many we have here on the bottom corner, but he's doing pretty fine at the moment. Guardian to a main. He needs Guardians at his main. The reason he's asking for Guardians is that when drops unload, the Guardians help LeBaBy take down the Templars really quickly. So you would preferably, like, he got 24 probe kills there, but you would preferably have, like, I'd say 10 Guardians, maybe some Scourge on the top, just to help him defend against those storm drops. And that's what he's gonna do. Gonna put a couple of Guardians here. He's gonna move the Realisks in, more of them, and then defend against those storm drops from Budgie. Budgie now on 101. He is... Well, where is his forge? Does he have a forge? I don't see a forge. Where's his forge? Does he have no forge? Oh, he lost a forge earlier against the Dark Templars from LeBaBy, and he has not rebuilt them yet. Now they're going for a big attack there on Viperclass. Viperclass is finally starting to grow. He lost all his Guardians just now. He's morphing new Guardians at home, but some of them are being morphed here, which means that while the Guardians are located in LeBaBy's base, there is a small little opportunity for Budgie and Fuffpounder to use their overpowering, really massive army to just walk Viperclass over and kill him. That is their goal. He's currently on 2-2 there for the air upgrades. He's getting attacked by a huge army of 101 by Budgie and 101 by Fuffpounder. Fuffpounder has really been taking a beating, losing his forges and his technology earlier into the game, so he's not been able to upgrade for a while. We have 6 height, 7 height Templars are on the scene. I think Viperclass is gonna die after all, because those storm drops from Budgie eventually ended up doing just enough damage to really just hurt him and take him down. But Guardians moving to the bottom there from LeBaBy's base into Viperclass's base, trying to stay alive. He's got almost no forges. I think we're starting to see Viper's inability to keep growing his base as he was attacking is starting to backfire. It's starting to backfire. In the end, Viperclass did an amazing job doing a lot of damage against Fuffpounder. And now he's raging a little bit, because I must say he played well, but I think that he did make some mistakes with his playstyle. He just failed to keep on growing. He was really focused on attacking, which is great. He was focused on keeping up the pace of the game, trying to eliminate Fuffpounder before Fuffpounder could once again contribute with a large army. But Fuffpounder was already very rich. So I think he should have focused on growing at the same time as he was attacking, which he wasn't doing. Combine it with the drops, and he is just dying. I don't want to say miserably, because he fought heroically, but in the end he dies because the numbers just do not add up in his favor. Likewise for LeBaBy, who has been taking abuse from the top here non-stop from Budgie, losing probes over and over and over. This was never allowed to really contribute as much as he would want to, and if he even wanted to contribute, we have large amounts of cannons in the middle. He should have probably gone for a really heavy robotics style play and go for drops instead of going for army. He went for army, and going for army just doesn't work out when you are blocked on the middle of the map, just like LeBaBy was in this game. So LeBaBy going for mass gateways in the end didn't work. He had to go for shuttle drops onto specifically Budgie because Budgie was being a pain in his ass. A large, massive pain, going very, very deep, and he ended up suffering a defeat in the end. Goes over the drop, starts unloading, but nothing of significance unloads. Shuttles do die, the probes stay alive, but it might be a little bit too late for that, because he is now knocking on heaven's door. Because look at this, we have Fuffpounder and Budgie marching through that front door, ready to take him down. The Fuffpounder did successfully relocate to the other side of the map. Also got additional gas here on the top side of the map. And he's got still a couple of gateways there left there back at home. He's got some robots there on the middle. A couple more gateways here on his new base, and his technology is there as well. And finally getting those upgrades to level 303, which he might not need, because we can see that LeBaBy is actually holding on pretty well with the Reavers there behind the robos. The cannons, he's gonna die eventually there though, because the storms are taking down the Reavers, and the Reavers cannot eat storms more than once. Like, they can eat it once, but not twice, because twice they die. So yeah, slowly gonna push through. Though we got Dark Templars and no observers on the scene, so the observers are a little oversight there from Budgie and Fuffpounder, forgetting to add the observers even though they were already aware of playing against Dark Templars. LeBaBy has already shown Dark Templars before. Okay, we have the observers from Budgie arriving on the scene. Dark Templars are now useless, but the Reavers in the back there are still alive, still contributing. Adding on new cannons on the bottom side. At this point, I would say LeBaBy should just leave, because at this point it's impossible to win. You have a very bad spawn location. Where he is very prone to drops. And we do see another drop on the way from Budgie. Although, I'm surprised Budgie never made a Stargate for Corsairs to help escort those drops in. He is making one right now though, so I spoke a little bit too soon. We got 1-1 there for Budgie. Zealots there. Zealots without speed for LeBaBy. So he also forgot to get a speed upgrade. And it doesn't really matter that much because he never used Zealots. But at this point in the game, he is starting to use Zealots because he can't afford Dragoons. He's just no longer making them. And his base is a mess, but it works. It works. Kind of like how Fuffpounder's base is also a massive mess. It's a mess. It's ugly. It's not pretty, but it works because he has everything he needs. But this is just too many units to look at. I'm just gonna tap because it's over. It's over. It's over. I'm out. Quit and have a very quick look at the scoreboard, just to have an idea of what happened there. We have Fuffpounder, Budgie winning against LeBaBy and Viperclass. Viperclass played a really good game, but forgot to keep growing, and once he decided to keep on growing, it was in fact already a little bit too late. Hope you enjoyed this impulse cast. Like, I just had an impulse, like, I want to cast a game. I don't know why, I'm bored, I want to cast a game. I decided to just observe a little bit of SCW action between two of the middle tier teams in the league, with Fuffpounder teaming up with Budgie and LeBaBy teaming up with Viperclass, although I'm not sure that LeBaBy and Viperclass will play again tonight or today. They probably will in the future, but Viperclass really did not like losing in that manner. You can see in the chat, but it happens to all of us. Sometimes we just don't like losing all that much.